Alright, so today we're reacting to why Joe Rogan and Howard Stern don't like each other. I'm live right now on Twitch. YouTube, if you want to follow me, the Twitch link will be the first in the description. Let's get straight to the video.
I used to have Joe Rogan on all the time. Joe is angry with me. He has a problem with me, and I know why.
Why exactly do Howard Stern and Joe Rogan hate each other? It's a feud that's lasted over 20 years and includes multiple different reasons.
Isn't he the guy off of America Got Talent? I'm not good with celebrity names, so I just know people off of where I noticed them from.
Only made crazier by the fact that they used to be pretty good friends. This could be seen during Joe's very first appearance on Howard Stern, where in September 2000, Howard began by praising one of Joe's comedy segments.
One of the best bits we've played on the radio in a long time is a bit by Joe Rogan, who stopped by today, and I want to play it for you right now. Here's Joe Rogan's bit.
After playing the lengthy segment, Howard and Joe talked about how much they liked each other.
A great bit, a great comedian, Joe Rogan. Good to meet you, Joe. Finally have you on the show.
I don't want to keep pausing too much, but I want to say this real quick before the video also goes. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little embarrassing, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know Joe Rogan was the guy for Fear Factor. I knew him for the podcast, right? But I didn't know it was the same dude, which was crazy.
What's happening, man?
How you doing?
This is an honor.
Yeah. It's an honor to meet you.
After which Joe Rogan became a regular guest on the show until the first incident of February 2002. Howard and Joe's friendship had strengthened in the 18 months prior, so much that they'd spent time together outside of the show. On the 6th of February 2002, the pair flew to Vegas where they'd end their evening at a strip club. In a state of intoxication, Joe made some jokes/comments about the girls there, done so in a private setting between friends. Although when they'd record a Stern Show episode the very next day, Howard tried to publicly call Joe a misogynist by airing his comments from the night before.
Then we went over to Club Paradise. Joe
Weirdo.
Rogan, you try to act like you're above the strip club.
Oh, come on.
How am I trying to act like I'm above it?
You should see this guy's
How am I
nose.
trying to act like I'm above it?
Well, I mean, you're like, oh, these girls, they don't like me.
What are you talking about?
Yeah?
No such thing.
He goes, oh, these whores, this and the other. Meanwhile, you love these
I
girls.
don't say it that way.
That's weirdo. If that's your man's, it don't matter if y'all both famous. If that's your man's, why is you trying to make content out of them? That's what I'm saying, bro. Internet is fake, bro. Don't trust these people on the net. These is not your homies, bro.
This was obviously a bit embarrassing, but Joe didn't seem all that concerned. It was the early 2000s and controversial moments were an expectation on Howard Stern's show. Only as time progressed, Howard refused to let the moment die and would push the same narrative in a later episode when Joe wasn't there.
Joe hates women. Joe's weird. Like
He definitely has a difficult time.
I've gone to strip clubs with him, and he's like, get away from me, you whore.
In the meantime, Howard
What?
tried to manufacture even more embarrassment by inviting a girl Joe had been with in the past to sabotage his reputation further.
He was my first one-night stand.
You're kidding.
It wasn't really a one-night stand.
Howard's a weirdo for that, I
By the way,
swear.
you were Joe's 350th one night stand.
That's fine. I learned a lot
Where
from
did you
Joe.
meet Joe?
You learned a lot from me?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
What did you learn from Joe?
Well, after that wonderful one-night stand, I got pregnant, and I...
What?
Yeah.
What?
What?
He is, bro.
You kidding?
Did you know that?
Okay, but the other...
How old's your son?
I never kept it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, Jesus.
Joe played the awkward moment off like it was no big deal. However, this was much harder after Howard then invited Joe's actual ex-girlfriend onto the show.
Howard is a weirdo.
Did he cheat on you? He did.
That's not, he was never Joe's friend.
Did you think you had an exclusive relationship with him at the time when you
This
cheated?
is on the radio for the world.
I did.
You did. Joe,
You're going
How did you
hard on me,
find
bro.
out?
Joe, let me ask you. I mean,
Hey, enough.
why cheat on her? Why not be honest?
You know what? We used to have huge fights, and then I would.
Yeah, but why the cheating?
And having grown tired of being embarrassed publicly, Joe's appearances on the Stern Show became less frequent than non-existent. Noticing the pair's potential fallout, fans took to the Joe Rogan official forums where they'd bring up the original strip club incident before they'd receive clarity from none other than Joe Rogan himself. He'd write, "My problem with Howard's version of the story is that it's complete crap. I never said getaway whores to anyone. There are a lot of aggressive strippers that were trying to get guys to buy lap dances. Howard and some of the other guys were getting them and I didn't want one. The girls were pushy and all I kept saying is no thanks. Somehow that turned into getaway whores when he got on the radio. When you've got a guy that you respect and admire and you've done his show a bunch of times, you think that you're friends. Then when that guy turns on you and talks badly about you, especially when it's not true, it's a gross feeling. I'm a loyal friend and that stuff means a lot to to me. If I had a friend outside of show business and he gave a distorted account of me like that, I would stop hanging around him and I wouldn't trust him anymore. As for Howard, I have no ill feelings. I still listen to Stern all the time. I was always a huge fan of the show. I'll probably do Stern again sometime. I just thought that whole situation was really weak and I didn't want to be a part of it. Having confirmed that the two were in fact fighting, Joe was asked about the feud in various radio appearances.
The alleged feud.
I'm not gonna lie, Joe's a better man than me, because after that, it's cold turkey. Like, I'm done with this show. I don't want to see you. We got beef.
Stern and Joe Rogan here. Howard has nothing but good things to say, and he was always wondering why you don't do his show anymore.
At which point he'd elaborate further.
Howard said, you know, Joe hates women, and I listened to that and I was like, that's not true. Like, and I was like, you know, what do I do? Do I go on and defend myself? And then you get into that weird cycle of, you know, like accusing and defending, and like, I don't like negativity. I don't like conflict. You know, there's like a whole gotcha mentality over there.
No, that's very true.
However, Joe discussing their feud only added fuel to the fire, as Howard then took to his own show to offer his side of the argument.
Speaking of feuds, Joe hasn't appeared on our show, Joe the comedian. So I told you Joe had some problem with me, so he discussed it with Craig Fitzsimmons.
He won't discuss it with us.
No, and you know, I remember the exact incident.
Howard's a weirdo.
Is this Vegas?
Yeah, this is Joe's, you know, this is what Joe said.
He said something about me on the air that I didn't like. He said I hate women, and I was like, come on, man, really? First of all, I'm going to have to defend that. So then, you know, whenever you're defending something like that, it always automatically looks like you're being defensive. Yeah. I don't even want to be involved. And I said, I'll just be a fan again.
And Joe's right. You know, it's better he doesn't come on because he's building this thing up. I understand what he's saying, because if you start dealing with it on the air, then it becomes even bigger.
To me, let it go. You know, come back in and let's have fun again.
Yeah.
You know?
No, bro, what? Are they serious? No, it's not. It's not going like that, bro. Hold on, let me close my window because all my neighbors think I'm crazy. Because I'm finna go crazy right now. Hold on. You not, bro? What did he just say? He said, bro. He literally just said he aired him out on live on TV, national radio, and then just called, but it's not that serious. Come on, let's have some more fun. Like, look, come on. What? Is he stupid? You get, bro. I'm not gonna say it, but you get not treated so well if you do stuff like that to people IRL, bro. They see you, they're not gonna buy you candy.
This way. You know what I mean?
It was clear that Joe and Howard weren't exactly best buddies, although to make matters worse, all of this went down 6 months before Joe had even started his podcast, which only damaged their relationship further. In March 2015, Howard made the claim that podcasts are for losers.
Step into website.
Come on with these ads, man. This is a great video, by the way. Follow Sunny D. Subscribe to him. All his content is very good. The link for this original video will be in the top description.
Friend Ari Shafir to bring up the topic on episode 623.
You're upset with Howard Stern because he said that shit about podcasting.
That's the new thing I'm upset with Howard Stern over. It just shows how much he's lost touch. Like, that's not the way you become a radio DJ. Stern, no one wants to become a radio DJ who's doing podcasts. That's not our end goal. Anyone who listens to a podcast and listens to Howard Stern, just so you know, Howard Stern called you a loser for listening to podcasts as well.
This gave Howard Stern the chance to respond.
I got tape from Joe Rogan's podcast. He had a comedian on there who was bashing me the other night. He's a 41-year-old comedian I've never heard of, nor has anyone else.
Ego.
With some podcast, and he's hurt that I said that podcasts are no good. And if you sit in your room and do a podcast, you're pretending to be a broadcaster. Take the podcast and throw it out the window. You're 41 and you're on Joe's podcast and no one knows who you are and no one's going to hear you. This guy, it's like a street performer giving advice to Paul McCartney. Howard's old. He doesn't understand podcasting. No, I understand it perfectly. He goes, and by the way, everyone who has a podcast, Howard Stern's calling you a loser. Yeah, I stand by that. It's exactly what I'm doing.
However, despite Ari getting...
See, that's that ego. They're not going to like that one, Stern. Howard, they're not going to like that, buddy.
Being absolutely destroyed, it was obvious that Joe was trying to avoid drama.
Stern has really good interviews. They're really good.
Joe's a good person.
Very good. He might have some ideas that I don't agree with, like the podcasters are losers, but like that guy's the #1 radio guy of all time.
Which was in turn appreciated by Howard.
Joe was nice. He was like, saying, hey, Howard's a great broadcaster. Why don't you listen to what he's saying? Joe was like, are you for real?
In a 2019 article titled Howard Stern Says He Has Changed How Much, Stern was asked, do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, to which he'd respond by stating, "I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. I've never watched the entire podcast, but there's tons of clips of him, and he does a really good job, showing that perhaps they'd resurrected their friendship." Although the very next question was, is there an issue between you guys? To which Howard stated, yeah, there is. "I was a fan of Joe's comedy. I was a big proponent of his before he was a host on TV, before he got into MMA fighting or whatever. Joe was a guest one time and I said something to him off air, which
Fear Factor, MMA, now comedian, what didn't he do?
Won't go into, but he took offense. I haven't heard or seen him since. I think he made the decision that I was toxic for him, but I hold no grudge," showing that there might have been another private incident between them, as was also suggested by this clip.
I said something to him in private, and he was insulted by what I said. I don't even know if he has dislike or something from me. I don't know, but no, I won't be having him on, but that's not my idea, that's his.
Despite this, the interviewer then asked Howard, has he invited you on his show, to which he'd state, "He hasn't, I'm not opposed to it. I've asked him to come on my show, but he doesn't want to, and I respect that, it's not meant to be," which only became more ingrained in the very next year of 2020. Joe began the year by once again praising Howard Stern.
Whatever anybody wants to say about Howard Stern, he opened the door for podcasts, for sure. All these outrageous people doing podcasts, he made the roadmap.
However, as the pandemic made everything about politics, it became apparent that Howard and Joe held completely different opinions. While Howard Stern was vigorously pro-vaccine, Joe made it clear that he'd rather use alternate medicine, leading Howard to resuscitate their very public feud.
Like I heard Joe Rogan was saying he
Bro, Howard is on his body. Leave him alone. Bro, this is what I'm talking about. Bro, Howard's the problem. Do y'all not see this? It's literally Howard every time. Like, quit talking about him, bro. This is a grown man, by the way. Keep that in mind. What's up, Muffin?
What are you busting my balls? I took COVID. Yeah, he goes, I took horse dewormer. Yeah, and a doctor gave it to me.
Worried about a grown man.
Give you a vaccine. So why take horse dewormer?
Joe provided no response to Howard's comments and instead continued to host the podcast as he'd done so previously. Showing no interest in changing his stance, Joe was then pressured by the public to alter his behavior or explain his actions, eventually leading to this video.
"I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong."
Although it seemed Howard Stern wasn't satisfied with Joe Rogan's response. "The whole thing with Joe Rogan is so silly to me," Stern told listeners on Tuesday. Even the apology, he just should have said, "You know what, listen, I'm a comedian and I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no medical background whatsoever to be telling people what to do with their health," Stern continued. He should issue an apology saying, "I'm wrong and go and get the vaccine before you die," although Joe maintained his refusal to argue and instead continued to praise what Howard had done for radio.
People to this day, they make fun of Howard Stern because of who he is now and the way he behaves now. That guy's the man. When he was the king of all media,
great response.
Now he's woke.
It's crazy. Roughly 2 months later, Joe was once again asked the following.
"What do you think of what Howard's become recently?"
Well,
he's the only person I know who's gone, other than Penn maybe, who's gone from being red-pilled to blue-pilled.
Yeah.
Although the conversation went elsewhere before Joe would give an answer, prolonging the feud until the two media legends clash again in the future.
This was a great video. There's a few things I want to say before I end it off. First off, Howard Stern's weird, and that's the kind of ego people get. He talking about some just telling me you're a comedian, I got it wrong, this and that. Bro, that's the thing with the internet. First off, if someone says something on the internet, you don't have to listen to them. And they don't have to publicly apologize for giving their opinion. They're not telling you to do it. He's saying he wouldn't do it. And even if he did tell you to do it, you don't have to listen to him. You know what I mean? If you know he doesn't have the background to speak on it, why are you taking his advice? Bro, you should say, "I'm sorry, I'm wrong." Bro, forget that. I'm not doing none of that. You don't have to listen to what I say. Yeah, it's facts. It's so dumb that people, bro, this gets me tight because I just, stuff like, because I hate when people, bro, let me just chill. Because people take the internet, let me just chill, bro. I'm worked up because I'm passionate, not because I'm angry. I'm just passionate about it. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. Hit like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, first link in the description. Follow Sunny V, first link in the description as well. I'll catch y'all next video.